Now, ahead of the launch of Greyhound Racing UK, I'm delighted to be joined by Mike Davis, who is the leading owner, of course, with the MWD partnership, but also a key part of Greyhound Racing UK. Now, Mike, what first actually drew you into our wonderful sport?
Well, thanks, Donny, for having me to start with. The whole sport, in terms of my life, it stretched back to when my mum and dad were kennel hands at Northaw in 1962, and basically gave me that bug. When I was born in 1971, they come away from greyhound racing, but were still breeding, and so it's been in my blood forever. And so I've always been interested, always been around greyhounds, and got to a point where I was following with my mum and dad through what they were doing, just greyhounds breeding, greyhounds racing, all the way through to when I was leaving school. And then I got into ownership just after, into my 20s, when I earned a few quid. I could buy a first dog and get involved with that. And then I was pretty successful in business, which meant that I was able to invest back into the sport through ownership for the past probably 10 years, and got to a point where I can't get anywhere out of it now. It's my life, really.
Yeah, once it sucks you in, you cannot get out. Now, when did Greyhound Racing UK become more than a pipe dream for you?
Okay, so in the last year and a half, I looked at what I wanted to do to extend the legacy that I was involved with, both with myself and with my parents, and what they'd done for what Greyhound Racing had done for us as a family. And so Greyhound Racing UK was a bit of a dream that I didn't really think what it was going to be 18 months ago, 2 years ago, but I knew I could do something that supported the sport in a way that I didn't want to take anything back. I wanted to give. And what was the best way to do that? Well, I just looked at the scenario of promotion and advertising and saw there was none for the past God knows how long. It's a common story, and thought, well, okay, what can I do to make a difference? And it's to create an organisation, I think, that would advertise, broadcast, promote greyhound racing, greyhound homing that had not been seen or done before.
Now, we've got an ethos in Greyhound Racing UK, which is together we win. How does that translate into kind of the day-to-day operation?
So again, it's our ethos and our core values. So we want to work in partnership with everybody. We don't want to go in there as a threat. We don't want to go in there and steal something. We want to go in there and help something. So whether it be an idea, whether it be an advertising environment, whether it be a promotion environment, whether it be helping out somebody, we want to get together with people. And to do that, you've got to communicate well. So with our launch and where we want to go with getting people familiar with what we're doing, we want to communicate to them, we want to involve them. So the big thing now is telling everybody what we've done silently, maybe for the past 6 months, whereas building a team of 20 odd people, 25 people, and seeing where we can take that marketing engine, the broadcasting expertise, the homing and welfare expertise we've got, and get out there and see how we can help the industry and help people.
Now, there is a lot of talk about the sports decline, of course, as we've had that drum banged for a number of years. But what specific initiatives are Greyhound Racing UK leading to revitalise the sport?
Okay, well, I always put it down to 4 key things. So I wouldn't say the specifics within them yet. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
But the 4 key things for me are we have to get more exposure to greyhound racing. And that means people attending tracks, and then people being involved with greyhound racing, either through betting or through ownership, but all the time making sure that we're promoting the welfare side.
Yeah.
So bringing our shop window for our homing environment, for example, out to the wide world. So there's 4 things in there: getting people to the track, getting people owning dogs, more people betting on the greyhound industry and the greyhound world, and then the homing and welfare side.
Yeah, that's one of the big parts, and we will be talking to Gail May about that shortly. Now, who are your key industry partners, and how are those partnerships working?
Okay, so we've identified all of the key stakeholders in our industry.
Yeah.
So if you were to look at those key ones, they are the owners, the trainers, the track promoters, the bookmakers, the media rights providers, and then the homing organisations and the charities. So getting all of those identified to start with, and then creating a targeted communication plan and involvement plan with them. We've had great success already because we're effectively going in there with a hands down approach, saying that we're not here for the take, we're here to help. what can we do to make sure that we achieve our aims, which should be your aims, which means to sustain and make and grow the whole of greyhound racing and greyhound homing. So that whole strategy has been around delivering those things with our stakeholders.
Now, obviously, we're quite a new organisation, Greyhound Racing UK, but how are we working to ensure the long-term sustainability of, one, the organisation, and two, the sport?
Well, the whole sustainability of the sport revolves primarily around our four key elements. So the more people we can get involved with that, we have to get more new people coming to see greyhound racing. We have to get more betting going on in greyhound racing. We have to make sure people are aware of the homing environment. And the only way you can do that, my professional expertise previous to what I'm doing here, was all about getting message out to the audience, general audience.
Yeah.
So creating a marketing engine. So whether that be through social media, whether that be through direct email, whether it be through broadcasting, creating all of those different things that creates more knowledge and more understanding of what we're doing and just more exposure. Pretty low bar at the moment. For the things we've done in the background, we've seen great traction because we've just done something. We've not to say it's the best things that we put out there, but we've done the best we can in the resources we have. That's only going to get bigger. I always refer to momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum is really crucial. We've got a bit of momentum going. We need to keep that momentum flowing. We need to create those innovative ideas for marketing. We need to make sure our stakeholders are involved, and that momentum gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This whole environment for sustainability of the project revolves around how many people we can get involved in that. My biggest and key thing is that we segment our audience. We own our audience and we segment it. Mm-hmm. There's lots of different levels of ownership out there of audience, of people getting involved, whether it be with the trainers, whether it be with the tracks, whether it be through the bookmakers, whether it be through the homing organisations. Bringing that together and creating a bigger momentum is really crucial. So we've got some great targets this year to get those people to understand we're in it together. So together we win. Push that momentum and keep it going.
You just touched on the big events coming up. What plans have we got for, say, the Derby?
Okay, for the Derby, I was lucky to get into an environment with Kevin Boothby at Toaster, who we had a common feeling around how do we make the Derby bigger and better and even better. So we've agreed to put the Derby to the forefront of all of our marketing exposure, really, for the next 2 months.
Yeah,
which means broadcasting. It means exposure to the show that's going to go on at Toaster, making that customer experience as well as the best possible customer experience that you can get at a sporting event, and making sure that we can promote that to get people there. Having that 10% tote is also crucial to that because it gets the betting environment stimulated. People aren't going to bet on the tote, they can bet on the bookies, but they can get there and see all that side of things. So putting a lot of our effort and resources into the Derby, making sure that Toaster is a showpiece event for our industry, that it gets exposure nationally in the right places. We can't do all of that ourselves. So again, it's all about how we understand all those partnerships that we need to create and make to continue to push to make it the best Derby we can.
Now, what initiatives, departing from Toaster, are you taking to improve race day conditions at tracks across the country?
So we identify that to get people involved in greyhound racing and then to come back, they've got to have a great experience.
Yeah.
And that's primarily at track. And we can do that broadcasting too on how it comes across on TV. But just getting that piece right at the track, there are some great experiences and standards already at tracks. It's all about identifying what are the best experiences, what can we do to support the experience at track, whether it be through broadcasting, whether it be through advertising, or just even sharing common knowledge across the tracks. We've got to get that experience as well as it can be given to a customer. That's the only way they're going to come back.
Yeah.
They won't come back if they're not happy, if they don't get looked after, it's not the right environment, they're not seeing entertainment and racing, they don't understand how well we look after greyhounds, how the standards of welfare that are around them. All of those things need to be packaged, and that's how we get the people to come back.
Now, will there be any owner-focused initiatives going forwards? Because that's what we need, again, for the long-term sustainability of the sport. We need to get those owners in to keep it going.
Well, absolutely. First off, I've been an owner myself, and
Yeah.
I've been on the ownership environment for 25, 30 years, and I've always seen that there's not been a common voice, and we've had good owners reps and bad owners reps over the years from the GBGB. What I really aspire to is having an environment where all owners get communicated to in a way that engages them, in a way that gives them offers or gives them incentives to actually get involved and get their friends involved and shout about it. We've got 2,000 or 3,000 owners in the sport at the moment, who we don't use. I
No.
don't think we're our own best advertisement. I obviously get people involved, but I think we can do a lot more. Give people the ammunition, give people the advertising, and they'll go out and attract people. Give them the actual experience at track, they'll come back. So what we're doing for owners, we're firstly engaging them, communicating to them. So we've got to get a very appropriate channel for communication, whether it be through a mass WhatsApp group. I'll even use those little things, which says, okay, let's get people information that we can target at them for owners, or an email environment where they're getting everything updated every week on what's going on in the world of ownership for greyhounds, but giving them a better experience outside of the track as well as at the track.
Okay. What is the main message that you want to portray to the people from Greyhound Racing UK, Mike?
Well, I see this, if I can't do it, and if Greyhound Racing UK can't do it, and Greyhound Homing UK can't do it, I'm not sure what else there is. So this is not for profit. It's not for my own ego. It's for the industry. I want to give back. This is the only way I think I can do it. And I don't like to doom monger, but I don't think there is much of a sport if we don't start promoting ourselves. So for me, I've got to do it. I'm going to put all of my efforts and all of my heart into it, with my business brain balancing against that sometimes. But that whole thing around how do we get it pushed, the ethos of together we win. We need to take back ownership of our product, take back ownership of our audience, and the world then becomes our oyster. That's where I want to be.
Because, Mike, it is the greatest sport in the world, isn't it? You get a race every 15 minutes, and that buzz when they go across the line for the first time, and then they do it again. It's just amazing.
And the dogs are the stars.
Yeah.
I always never have sorry, let me say, I always congratulate the winners, whether it be the dogs being the stars or the owners or the trainers, because I've been there. And I know how hard it is to get a greyhound to peak performance. How well you have to look after them, even if it's a graded race.
Yeah,
that's got something attached to it around actually getting a dog to its peak performance. And the higher up the chain you go, to win Cat 1s are so hard. But I respect everybody who's got greyhounds, who owns greyhounds, and I'll always congratulate them on a win.
it is the best sport in the world. You've heard from Mike Davis what we're trying to do with Greyhound Racing UK. It's now time to get behind us.